Okay, we are going to talk about how to understand a Pisces man, part two. And I have mentioned in the first one that the Pisces man is a mysterious man. The Pisces man is a whole new world. The Pisces man is seductive, mysterious, frighteningly feminine, but not effeminate. Feminine beauty with strong sexuality and masculinity and femininity blend into one, creating what's called a cosmic being. You have to understand that Pisces is a cosmic being. That cosmic energy, and let me tell you, to understand this, and I can't really discuss Pisces without going into the mystical. We are human beings from Aries to Capricorn. When we are born multiple lifetimes, and I got to talk about this because Pisces represents past lives and the mystery behind death and all that good stuff. So we have to talk about it because all those mysteries are found in Mr. Pisces. And you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to have a conversation of being mystical. In fact, there are many Pisceans out there that don't even talk about the mystical, the mysterious, and that which is frightening and inevitable. You're gonna find a lot of Pisces men that really don't like to talk about that. And they can actually talk a good game by pretending that they don't believe in that, it doesn't exist. And even those who are more comfortable with that mystical side of them will not really indulge into a conversation about it unless you happen to press for the conversation. But Pisces knows. I mean, the only word that I can ascribe to Pisces, and there are many, but for me, it will be, I know belongs to Sagittarius. It's a catchphrase. But with Pisces, you really have to believe in something more cosmic, more real. But intellectually, see, they'll discuss it intellectually. They won't come from a feeling base. That doesn't mean that they don't know that to be true. They do. They're just not going to discuss it with you. See, I think there's a part of Pisces that feels comfortable keeping people in the dark, fooling people, you know, doing it because it may give them a sense of power for those who are more connected to the ego than those who are more spiritually connected to Neptune, which is the vibration of Pisces, the ruler, Neptune. Far more spiritual, and the ego reaches a state of dissolution when you go up and up the higher realms of spiritual awakening. You're leaving the ego and going into a higher state of consciousness, which then you can become part of the big source of the creator or the one. But understand that the more you climb up spiritually towards that kind of evolution, every step upward means a destruction in equal step of the ego. Because the ego cannot know God. Just like flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven, neither can the ego see God. The ego has to die here. in order for us to transcend from matter to spiritual evolution, which is truly our home, where we really belong. Remember, the fall of man. When the Bible says the fall of man, understand that we were cast down here, but we don't belong here. So understand that Pisces, at some level, understands that mystery. And that may be the reason why he go through some morbid thoughts and feelings, grave, that stirs inside him. In fact, one of the greatest composers of all time, besides Beethoven, was Chopin. And Chopin was a Pisces. And if you listen to his scherzos and his polonaise, right, you will hear and Pluto was in Pisces when he was born. Yeah, Pluto was in Pisces. So this man, and he talked about the war before it even happened at Warsaw in Poland. He knew the fate of the Polish people way before Poland was invaded in World War II. Or World War One. I'm forgetting now my little history. I think it's World War One. Okay? So understand what is going on here. You know, Pisces has a depth that is so deeply frightening to the reality of our five senses that you'd have to drink to kind of put yourself in a better state of mind. Unfortunately, Chopin, had a tragic death, and Poland did become invaded, and this is the tragedy of Pisces. And he brought some of the most beautiful music the planet has ever heard with the piano. But he wasn't alive to hear it. And he died broke. It was just a sad story, just like the story of Edgar Allan Poe, which now we know all of his stories today. But that was another tragic Pisces figure. And died broke. This is the unfortunateness of Pisces. Pisces is the 12th house, the last sign of the zodiac. And that means a lot. So, and talking concerning personality and ego level, because I just gave you some cosmic stuff about Mr. Pisces that may very well be the currents that keep pulling him and changing him and sending him to other shores of other lands or countries or other women's bedrooms. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that Pisces is Joseph in the Bible. Pisces is Solomon. You know what I'm saying? These are tragic figures. And there's a little bit of a drama queen behind every Pisces. Yeah. Yes. And he can be very strategic about it. Remember, this man may appear over-emotional or even withdrawn, not because he wants to be, but because he can emotionally be in touch with his feelings to be able to come out with them. Either way, he kind of gets a bad rap. But understand that it is all an illusion. That man is more of a hustler than you'd care to know. And I tell you, because the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. It's Virgo. And Virgo is Mercury, the trickster. So there's a little bit of a trickster in every Pisces man. And when you see that in him, in his walk, in his slide, and his swagger, or whatever, you're always going to see that seediness oozing through somehow, some way. Now understand that when you see a Pisces like that, he has a gift of gab or a silver tongue, or he out there throwing craps on the street and winning, and that slide, and a smooth talker with the ladies. If you're dealing with that type of Pisces man, then understand that you are dealing with a Pisces man that's pulling from the opposite polarity, which is Virgo. the sign of the trickster. Okay, James Bond, American Gigolo, swinging through the pole, or the stripper in Matthew McConaughey, that movie with the guys who will be stripping, all that is the kinkiness of Virgo in Pisces. Someone sent me this bottle of vodka from I forgot what country. You can deliver. It was just delicious. So I'm trying it now. But yeah, oh yeah, Pisces is complex that way. Okay, and so another thing that you have to understand, like Mr. Scorpio, you have to find out why you attracted a Pisces man. And understand what that means when you attract a Pisces man. Right? When you attract a Pisces man, there's so much going on. So much going on. On the spiritual level that you probably will not be aware of, because Pisces is going to present to you the lower nature or the physical side, the non-spiritual side of Pisces. So you might get fooled into thinking that that's the reason why you met him, when in reality it was for the higher, more spiritual reason of Pisces, which still is not making itself known. See? And that also is another reason why you have to, as a woman, kind of understand where you are in life and be, because women can be so busy multitasking that they don't have a time to pause and think. I got you, I hear you. But with a Pisces man, when you get involved with a Pisces man, you are going to have to take a point to pause, rethink, and reflect. Because this man, can represent everything that you want a Pisces man to be, or everything that you don't want a Pisces man to be. And that is something that that has to be addressed. Okay? And remember, there are 2 types and the 4 subtypes and the other 12 subtypes, but they're basically kind of the same in theme, just different variations in their approaches when it comes to becoming different people with different other people, because they're never the same people with the same person. Understand that there are 12 personalities in this one sign. So, but it's not the personality of a Jekyll and Hyde, like Cancer, or a total bipolar shift of one person to another, like Mr. Gemini. No, these are more emotional states of mind and moods, and you have to catch them on the right time, or on the right day, or on the right hour or second. Because just when you think that you figured this man out, pow! You turn off your game. You turn off your game. The currents changed suddenly. And now he's oscillating from the other side of the tank versus the one that he came from. And you're still feeling the ripple effect of that first swim upwards when everything was going harmoniously in one direction. Like a school of fish. Or like that salmon moving upstream, jumping up, right into the hands of the bear that's there trying to catch him at the waterfall. So then you have to ask yourself, which one do you have? Do you have the salmon that's swimming upstream? Is that the Pisces man you got? The salmon that's swimming upstream? Or the school of fish that are moving in one direction? Either way, the school of fish is going to run into sharks or dolphins. They're going to go into eating frenzy. And that salmon is going to fall at the hands of a grizzly or a brown bear. Either one, they're going to be victims, but in different ways. So understand that when you are with a Pisces man, you will inherit his karma. You are going to live his shit. Because remember, the Pisces man is a cosmic mirror. So if there is shit going on with you, rest assured that the Pisces man is going to find it. And he's not going to tell you that he found the real you, that he knows the real you. I don't care how much game he got going on. Believe that. That I do want you to believe. He was telling you. He know you. And I mean know you. You cannot hide from this man. Or the Pisces woman. And he's going to relive your darkness. Put it right in your face. If you're afraid of ever being cheated on, and he knows it, he might actually make it look like he is cheating to bring out those fears. Now, why is he doing that? Is he a sadistic motherfucker? Well, he could be. Remember, pulling from Virgo, which is the sign of the sadomasochist. So, so there could be a little bit of a sadist in him. Oh, yeah. But then he'll swim back to being the victim. Again, playing the victim, because he never really is a victim. Understand that it is a game with him. Virgo, the trickster, the opposite. You gotta read Virgo to understand Pisces, because that's the subconscious. And he is a master at it. Not so much because of proficiency, although that very too could be. Remember, Virgo, which is the sign of the perfectionist. So he could very well be very technical and good, but that might not be all to it. He can switch it up. Switch it up. And then you're like, what? What? What happened? You're dealing with the fish man. You should watch that movie from the 80s, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa. You should watch that movie. It's that fish that saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa. You will understand what I mean. So, we're going to jump right in. And we're going to continue part 2 of how to understand a Pisces man. Now, like I mentioned, that the Pisces man seems to prefer to live a life of imagination. Okay? Bliss and sexual abandon. Because they love sex. They love sex. Love, can't get enough of it. The pornographic industry I had mentioned is a Pisces industry, even though the content is that of Scorpio. Right? And it's Scorpio nature. Remember, they're both water. It's all part of the water triplicity. Right? The average human being will never be able to sleep with some of these beautiful, exotic beings that these porno movies present you. Whether it's real or not. These are illusions, Pisces lives in that type of euphoric state of illusion constantly, and is always enhanced by the drinking of alcohol. Remember, Neptune, which rules alcohol and hallucinogenic and intoxicant states of matter, rules Pisces. Well, I'm a Virgo and I have all my planets in my birth chart in the 12th house of Pisces, which explains why I also like alcohol. But I guess you already know that. Now, I tell you, today, a Pisces man, you have to be more than average. You're gonna have to be. Just like if you date a Scorpio, if a Scorpio dates you, you gotta be a little bit more than average. But Scorpio for one reason and Pisces for another. With Scorpio is because he sees a sameness in you. If you're a too strong motherfucker and capable and a breadwinner, you gotta be too. So then the Scorpion will attract you. He will be attracted to you and you to him. But with Pisces, the strength is different. You have to be strong, not because it's admirable to Mr. Pisces like it is to Scorpio. No, it's admirable to Mr. Pisces for a different reason. And the reason is that you are strong enough to rescue him. Because he's not strong enough to rescue you. Or at least that's how it looks like from the outside looking in. In reality, there is nothing weak about Mr. Pisces. With him, it's just that he kind of lingers a little bit longer than he needs to when he wants something he's not getting it and can't realize that he's not going to get it and he needs to kind of like move on. Now that's the part of Mr. Pisces that he just quite doesn't get yet. He still holds on and holds on. Hold on to your love. Now, there's a song called Hold On to Your Love. I think it's En Vogue that sings it. And don't let... Well, okay, let me stop it. That drink makes you a little bit imaginative. But, there's always a song or a movie that relates to what I'm talking about. Because if you're going to talk about the signs and interpret them and try to teach it to people, you got to do it right. And you got to do it to something that they can relate to and they can see a parallel. And that's another good part of learning. So I tried to do that. Mr. Pisces, once you taste his nectar, it's hard to let go. Oh my God, you can be so devastated when you break up with a Pisces because the sex is good. The everything about him is good. He looked good. He smelled good. It's just good. And when it's gone, you just want to jump off a ledge. And then you wonder if Mr. Pisces misses you at all. But anyway, now, it's something. Let me tell you, the average human being will never be able to date. Like I said, it's serious fashion, these people, they will be out of the league. But in the same respect, Mr. Pisces represents that fantasy that is unattainable to the average man. See, he likes, he, like Mrs. Pisces, is a sexual healer. That's a lot that people don't talk about Mr. Pisces. He is a sexual healer. He can heal a woman's emotional wounds through sex. Yes, that's why he's so good at it. I'm telling you. Again, drawing from Virgo, the technical person that can make love to a woman with technical precision that can not match any other man. But if Virgo can loosen up a bit, he might probably enjoy it too. I'm not that type of Virgo, by the way. So he can heal through sex. He's a sexual healer. That's why he's so good at it. Now he heals by his illusion of life. His illusionary existence of life is carried to extremes. Everything is extreme. Sex, drugs, money, women. Everything has to be in extremes, And that can really tax his partner. There's always money missing in the account. Things are always run down, messed up, fucked up, And someone always has to come in and clean and pick up the pieces, This can really be quite something to deal with. They require much maintenance. They are little boys in a man's body. I'm going to go over, but I want to finish this series, so I'm going to go over with Mr. Pisces so I don't have to do a part 3. There are 2 types of Pisces men. The young spirit and the old type. The old soul. You got an old soul. Well, that will be an old soul type, and then there's a young spirit type. So there are 2 types, okay? It all depends on the one that you have crossing your path. That's what you have to ask yourself. Who is this Pisces? You know, and you got to ask yourself, again, like Mr. Scorpio, you have to decide early why this man is in your life. Pisces represents the consolidation and closing of a cycle in your life. So understand that if a cycle is coming to a close and this man coming into your life might represent that closing of a cycle in your life. But it can also symbolize a new beginning, which will require a total transformation and smooth adjustment to a new way of life. Scorpio will accomplish this also, but but through crisis. Pisces, with or without crisis. In order to understand Pisces, you have to analyze the symbol of the fishes. The symbol of the fishes, okay, the two fishes swimming in opposite direction. You have to ask yourself, what does that mean? Two fishes in opposite direction. Well, we're talking about the personality is one fish, the ego is the other one. So that means that Mr. Pisces is going to be contradictory in nature. His psychology will be contradictory. Perfect example. Let's say my partner were on our way to Las Vegas. We met on we went to the airport to board our plane, and we're waiting for our friend of ours to join us. Well, he doesn't come. He misses the flight. We head to Las Vegas. We had a wonderful time. We fly back. No word of Rudy. No word, nothing. We're a little worried. We're back in New York. It's been 2 days. No word of this person. We don't know who this person is. And I believe I mentioned the name and I might get in damn trouble. But this is what I'm saying. There is no, we don't know what happened to this person. So what happens? We hear finally that the person was indisposed because the life took him another direction. Then there was another situation where we went to some place. I think it was Martha's Vineyard. I'm not sure. And we took the Amtrak, and we were all supposed to meet. Well, come to think of it, he missed the train as well. We don't know what happened. There was no phone call. We finally found out that he was in the train opposite us, going the opposite direction, heading to Florida. Or we were heading to Martha's Vineyard. Again, the opposite direction, Pisces. We were heading Martha's Vineyard. He was heading to Florida. And he didn't tell us. We didn't know. It was unwanted. This is Pisces. The unpredictability of it. The unpredictability of it. So you have to understand that when you are dealing with a Pisces man, he's going to be extremely contradictory in behavior and in what he says. If he says he's here, he's really there. If he says this, he really means that. You know, and that is something that is kind of like a little bit different to understand. You know, there's a bipolar nature that can manifest behaviorally with Mr. Pisces. And it can really catch you off guard. It can catch you off guard and you don't know what to do. So understand that this is what's going on. The two fishes swimming in opposite direction. Okay? The two economies going on. Differences in philosophy. His heart might go this way, but his mind go that way. His spirit may go this way, but his heart that way. You know, this man he's a pair of opposites, and he oscillates from one to the other. If you're going to understand and be with a Pisces man, which I think is worth it, or woman, then you're gonna have to be mentally strong. But different than being strong that a Scorpio would attract. You have to be strong to protect yourself and rescue him. Because if you're not, you could be destroyed by the experience of a Pisces man. And he don't mean to hurt you. When you jump into the water, does the shark come to hurt you? Because he wants to hurt you? No, you might look like a dolphin. Or a seal. They don't see it the way we do. And he'll eat you alive and kill you. He don't know that you're human, that you got family and children, and boom, 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 boom. The shark does what it does in its own environment. So when you're dealing with a Pisces man, you're entering that water. And he can be a fish or he could be a shark. And don't forget that they're both fishes. A shark is not a mammal, it's a fish. So understand that Pisces comes in many fashions. He could be a hammerhead, a scissorhead. He could be a stump shark. He can be a great white. They're all fishes, my friends. They're not mammals. Scissorheads, you know. So there are all kinds of fishes in the sea. He could be a puffer fish. You know, the Japanese fish that can kill you and paralyze you. They got neurotoxins. You know, you got to be careful how you eat it. You got to take it out. And you plan to eat them as sushi. And you got to, if you take the poison out just right, you'll survive. Otherwise, you'll die. All that is Pisces. Pisces can be a wonderful surprise, like a pearl in the oyster. Or it can be a great white out to devour you. So you have to ask yourself, which one do you have? So understand the dichotomy, the beautiful fish with the beautiful fish, or the shark. They're both fishes and they both represent Pisces. So don't think Pisces is weak, because he's not. He just got his game tight. Okay. Most people have experienced two types of Pisces men. Okay, the gentle, subtle, and even mystical dreamer. You know the type, you know. And then there's the others who are far more aggressive. Okay. Now, from the outside looking in, he may appear to be weak. No, because he seems so preoccupied with situations or inner desires that no one is aware of. He seems not to care so much about success and may even give the impression that success may not be, that it may be unattainable, or that he is unable to handle success, or that he may miss the boat if he doesn't get his head off the clouds, like some people might think if they perceive again from the outside looking in. Right? But that's far from the truth. He has private longings and deeply seated secret desires and fantasies and expectations which he finds difficult, if not impossible, to discuss with anyone else. Pisces, because he is the last sign of the zodiac, is closer to the Neverlands or the Netherlands of fairy tales and dreams and space travelers, and even closer to God than any of us are. But that's paradoxical, because he can also stand on the front line of a new cycle. The 12th sign becomes one, but it can also become back the 12th. He lives in an in-between worlds, and sometimes he loses sight of which one he's currently playing in or plugged into. Okay? Because to Mr. Pisces, both the physical